welcome to my essay. So, I'm Alexis, and I chose to discuss the sense of vision and its impact on spirituality. So, first, I'd like to begin by stating my thesis statement. I believe that the sense of vision negatively impacts spirituality due to the harsh images that one must face in reality and view. So first off, I'm going to begin by defining spirituality, my definition of spirituality. Then I'm going to describe what the sense of vision looks like in terms of the biology in the eye and how the image is created. And then I'm going to use two examples to show how vision negatively impacts spirituality. So first, I'm going to use myself to show how my sense of vision has negatively impacted my spirituality. And then I'm going to use veterans who have experienced war and show how their sense of vision has negatively impacted their spirituality. And then as a counter-argument, I'm going to address the blind and talk about how their sense of vision or their lack of vision affects their spirituality. That is spirituality. So throughout my whole life, I think that I've struggled to find a clear definition of spirituality. When I was younger, I kind of thought that I knew what it was because I had people telling me all these different definitions. But as I grew older, I found and I understood and I accept that there's no clear answer to what spirituality is, and that it's unique to every individual. So for the purpose of this essay, I would like to define spirituality as the way in which we move through life from the beginning to end with awareness of what factors into our life-like experience with the need to look to a higher power of being. So basically what I mean is how we move through life with our awareness that we have a beginning and we have an end, and how our life is shaped through our experiences, but also with the need to look to a higher power to try to resolve our issues and to make sure that at the end of our life that we feel fulfilled, if that makes sense. I'm still struggling in my 20s to trying to find what I really think spirituality means to me. But for the purpose of this essay, I would like to define it as that. I'd like to talk about the sense of vision and what that actually looks like. So here I have this photo of the eye. So this is going to be the eye and its different parts and its functions. So we have the eye here, and then all of its parts work together and then connect to the brain. And then over here we have the ganglion cells. And so the ganglion cells, what they do is they send light. What the ganglion cells is, what they do is they take light from the back of the eye and then send it back to the front with an image. So basically, these are the cells that are creating the images that we see. So we take the light of whatever's in front of us, whatever that we're looking at, and it shoots to the back of the eye, and then an image is directed to the front, and then we get what we see. We also have things like night vision and people that are colorblind and things like that. So these are the cells that basically shoot images to the eye and get us what we see. So I'm not an expert on the sense of vision, but it's pretty straightforward. That we have these cells in our eye that we look at things, light, objects, and that just projects images back to our face. So the next thing I'll be talking about is how that sense of vision and the projection of image from the back of our eye to the front of our eye affects our spirituality. So now I'd like to state my evidence as well as my counter-argument. So for my first piece of evidence, I would like to speak from personal experience and demonstrate how the sense of vision negatively impacts spirituality. So I'm the daughter of two morticians. So my whole entire life, I've surrounded by images of death. The first time I saw a dead body that I was aware of, I was 8 years old and I was helping my dad vacuum the chapel, and I looked inside and next to me and there was a coffin and there was a firefighter and he was about 30 years old. And then my dad draped the American flag over his casket. And so I've been surrounded by images like that my whole entire life, consistent images That, you know, when somebody dies, that's a consistent image that I would see. A coffin, whether that be a woman, a man, an old person, a young person, a baby, either coffin or cremation, and that's a consistent image that, you know, I saw through my vision. And, you know, I was seeing daily, and because I was seeing such a negative image, and a consistent one at that, I believe that my spirituality was negatively impacted. And I started to struggle with being able to have faith in a higher power, and thinking that a higher power had control over my life and when my life began and end, because I don't think those people who died, I don't think that it's fair to say that a higher power got to decide that, because some of those people, I think, didn't deserve to die, at least at that time or at that place. So I feel like those consistent images and visions have negatively impacted my spirituality, because I've just been surrounded by death my whole entire life. The next piece of evidence I would like to offer is veterans. So, in a piece that I read titled After the Trenches, Spiritual Care of Veterans by Stephanie Winters, it had stated that veterans going into warfare generally had high spirituality, believed in spirituality and Savior as their saving grace, and believed that everything was going to be okay throughout the war as long as they had their spirituality, whatever that may be. And the study showed that after being put in warfare, they had completely lost faith in that spirituality. The visions that they saw and unbelievably horrific things changed that, shaped their spirituality. So because of that sense of vision out in that type of field, their spirituality was negatively impacted, and they saw a lot of horrible things that, you know, automatically changed the way that they saw things. So, I mean, those are just two instances, me and veterans, where people see awful things that impact their spirituality. And there's so many negative things going on in the world. To say, like, when you just turn on the news, you see a car accident or this and that, and all those negative things that we look at, that image is created with, like, the light at the back of our eye, impacts our spirituality and the way that we see the universe, and as the way that we see a higher being and understand a higher being. And I think it's unfortunate that it has to be negative. And it's unfortunate that the world can be surrounded by positive imagery. And so next I would like to talk about the counter argument. So then I would like to discuss the blind. So the counter argument poses the question, so what about blind people? If you are implying that the sense of vision has a negative impact on spirituality, does it go to say that people who are blind have a higher sense of spirituality? And so after doing some research, I concluded that in fact, no, they don't have a high level of spirituality. Often people who are disabled and lack either vision or a sense, or who previously had a sense and no longer have this sense, are often filled with despair and anger, and even less sense of spirituality, because they are at a disadvantage as opposed to the other people, and they aren't sure why they were picked to have that disadvantage. So in fact, sight or the lack of sight does have a negative impact on spirituality, whether that you're looking at all these negative images in the world, or whether you are unwrongfully denied the right to use that sense of vision out in the world. So I believe that overall, although there are a lot of beautiful things in the world, there are a lot of more harmful things, and I think that the sense of vision negatively impacts our spirituality, because we are put in the world as innocent beings, looking at everything with innocent eyes, and then we are slowly corrupted and saddened when those images are turned into reality, and we see those images for what they truly are at at face value. So thank you for listening to my essay. So in conclusion, I would like to state that sense of vision negatively impacts spirituality. Although unfortunate, I believe that it is true, and I'm still working on my definition of spirituality. And hopefully, as time progresses and as I progress, I can help myself come to a better and more more accepting definition of spirituality. So thank you. Also, thank you for this class. I really enjoyed it. It's really opened my eyes and my perspectives, and has, forced me to deal with spirituality when I've really kind of just been putting it off. So thank you.